Welcome to WOW of the World. We're 8 months on the way on this epic world trip. You already saw us visiting Thailand here in Asia, where we moved on to Indonesia, and this is the island of Java. So welcome to Yogyakarta. In the previous 7 episodes, you saw an amazing tour of Thailand. Full of nature, temples and beautiful beaches. And now we fly to the cultural heart of Java. Yogyakarta is kind of a big city, but the best neighborhood to stay at is Malioboro, in which we have a rooftop pool. And this is a pretty nice start. For less than 30 bucks a night we stay in Yogya, as the city is called by its inhabitants. In 1946, it briefly became the capital when Indonesia became independent from the Netherlands. Islam is by far the largest religion, but Hinduism is still prominent in the streets. A real mix of cultures. After some relaxing days on the rooftop pool, it's time to go out and do something for real. Yogyakarta is so beautiful and we're starting with the biggest sight of all. We immediately visit a real Hindu icon of the city. Just outside of Yogyakarta is one of the most beautiful ancient temple complexes in the entire world. It's also the biggest Hindu complex in all of Indonesia. The name is Prambanan, which means the many priests, and is from the year 850, which makes it older than, for instance, Ayutthaya in Thailand and Angkor Wat in Cambodia. And it's perfect, by the way. Did I mention that? Prambanan is an architectural masterpiece. Especially the details in the sculptures are beautifully preserved. The first excavation of this site was done in 1895, and the first reconstruction lasted until 1953. There are 3 main temples in the middle devoted to God as the creator, Brahma, the preserver, Vishnu, and the destroyer, Shiva. And the last one is the tallest building in the middle with 47 meters, which is devoted to Shiva. In the much more recent history, in 2006, Prambanan was hit by a violent earthquake. All these piles of stone are the result, but restorations are still taking place. We make a little stroll through the area and visit a very exotic petting zoo. Now it's time to walk through our lively neighborhood. In Malioboro Street and the shopping mall, we dive in between the locals. It's about time to discover the city of Yogyakarta. I'm just gonna dive in the small and busy streets here and surrounded by all the life. I'm gonna see what the city has to offer. Jens and Suus are going to stay at the hotel today. They're gonna take some rest, but I haven't been able to find the pause button on my body, so I'm just going on. Let's see the city. It's time to visit the most significant building in Yogyakarta. And it's a couple of buildings because these pavilions here are the Palace of the Sultan, right in the city center, and it's called Kraton. The funny thing is that the Sultan still actually lives here, but a part of it is open to the public, so maybe we'll bump into each other. Tough chances, but let's have a look. The palace is one big open-air museum and a beautiful journey through time. Just walking around here gives me a bit of that Forbidden City vibe, like in Beijing, China. And earlier on I witnessed something really special because there were about 8 women coming out of this little tea house and they had made tea for the Sultan, so they're bringing it over there. Ooh, the Sultan is right there. Also very interesting is the wayang performance, for which Yogyakarta is famous. It's a shadow play with epic stories from Javanese culture. Just near the palace we also find the royal gardens with the water castle, also known as Taman Sari. It used to be a place for meditation and a bathhouse, and now it's a nice place to do a little morning stroll. In this complex there are a lot of pools, and you can actually still see that it used to be a bathhouse because of these stairs going into the water. And it's all quiet here, there's nobody. How awesome is that? An experience that of course you cannot skip is to take a little ride on the rickshaw. So I'm going back to the hotel with my friend over here. During our stay in Yogyakarta, we switched hotels halfway. And not just because we needed a new roof over our heads, but also because we really wanted to stay at this place. It's called the Phoenix Hotel. It's a 5-star hotel where you only pay about 50 bucks, and it's listed as cultural heritage in Indonesia. A great piece of architecture and history. The most famous guest ever to stay here is former President Sukarno, who even had an office here during the Indonesian Revolution in the 1940s. we switch hotels one last time because we went to Borobudur. About 40 kilometers from Yogyakarta, this is the most famous temple complex in all of Indonesia and especially a site on Java. And we're staying in this hotel. In an hour and a half we drive to the beautiful countryside just outside Yogyakarta. We meet up with some friends here, Merlin and Edward, as they are here with their kids and parents to start their very own world trip. So we spent the day at one of the most famous Buddhist temple complexes in the entire world. Near Yogyakarta is Borobudur. We can walk around it right now, and normally we were able to go on top, but since this year it's not possible anymore. I can still tell you that up there is a big stupa and 72 smaller stupas, which symbolizes the lives of the Buddhists when they go to Nirvana. And it's still amazing to see from down here, so let's have a look. Today I'll leave the look upon the temples to the drone. This way we can still see the famous bell-shaped stupas a bit better. Just outside of Borobudur in our lovely little nature resort we say goodbye to Java because we continue to Bali, and from there we also visit one of the 7 natural wonders in the world, Komodo. We start in hotspot Ubud. In Betutu Bali villas we sleep in the middle of a Buddhist temple for only 25 bucks including breakfast. Good morning guys, it's still early here on Bali and today a driver is gonna pick us up for the whole day and we're gonna see a lot of Bali. We're gonna see volcanoes, rice paddies, lakes, waterfalls and temples. So, Bali in a nutshell. We start the day at the most remarkable building in Ubud. This is the Royal Palace of Ubud. And in the 19th century, this was a place where all the artists would come to get inspiration. It's about a 30-minute walk around and you will see some beautiful statues and temples. So, worth your while. What's very cool is that the king of Ubud actually lives here behind these doors. So this is his small kingdom and there were some people bringing in gifts and food going through these doors that are normally closed. On Bali you have several options for visiting the rice terraces that make this island so unique and beautiful. But the 2 most famous ones are Tegalalang and Jatiluwih. The first one is a bit closer to Ubud and the other one is a bit further on the island and it's a lot bigger. It's even more beautiful. We are there now and it's listed as UNESCO World Heritage. The name Jatiluwih means very pretty, and it's very pretty indeed. With the drone, I see how bizarrely beautiful and vast these rice terraces are. After all, this is what you come to see on Bali. The next stop is a very special place with the most expensive coffee in the world, luwak coffee. It's a small fox that eats the berries and poops them out, and then you make coffee of that. So the process must be very expensive, and we're now at the coffee plant. Many other herbs and spices are grown on the coffee plantation. We get to learn about all of those that are used in Bali in the food, but also to make all kinds of tea and coffee. The tour around the plantation is completely free, but of course at the end you have to earn money somewhere. So we get a lot of coffee and tea on the table, but if you want to try the luwak coffee, it costs about $4 or $5. So we got the normal coffee and the luwak coffee to compare the two. The fox poop coffee. So now for the test, guys, this is the normal Balinese coffee. Okay, pretty good. So far so good. Luwak coffee. Let's go, guys. No, it's supposed to be really nice. Wow, so much flavor. It's really good. If you want to take 200 grams of the luwak coffee home with you, you pay about $45. For our next stop, we reach a height of 1200 meters. Over there is Lake Bratan, a sacred lake with a temple on it called Uludanu. They built it in 1633, and this has been the symbol of Bali for centuries, especially the building behind me, 11 rooftops high. Nasi goreng. As we headed up north, we're in the roughest part of Bali, between the mountains and the beautiful waterfalls. This behind me is Bayu Mala. Wow guys, this has been a long day, but incredibly beautiful. The sun is going down here at the amazing waterfall, by the way. As we're walking back here, going back with a taxi, it's the end of the day. I'm looking forward to a cold bintang somewhere. Cheers. On the way back, we have a perfect view over two other lakes. After Bratan, we see the sun going down on Lake Buyan and Tamblingan. And we grabbed that cold bintang in one of the trendy eateries in Ubud. At Ubud Warung the food is fantastic. The alarm clock was set very early today here in Sanur, Bali. And even if we didn't wake up on time, there were 1,000 scooter bikes here in this street that made sure that I woke up early. Beep, beep. And we're going to Nusa Lembongan now. Paradise, guys. In just half an hour we sailed to the much quieter Lembongan. It looks like the Caribbean here, but in Asia. In total we'll visit 3 Nusa islands, but we start at the closest one. To be precise, we're standing on Nusa Lembongan. The Nusas are a group of islands that belong to Bali, and after this one we're gonna visit Nusa Penida. So let's go and explore. On the way from the harbor to our hotel, we immediately see how beautiful this island is from the truck. Although Bali is a very popular destination, it does not have to be expensive. We sleep here for only 20 bucks a night in these little huts behind me. This is called Abian huts on Lembongan. This hotspot accommodation is located close to Dream Beach, and this beach lives up to its name. What a dream destination! How great are these typical Bali-style huts? I'll show you upstairs. Downstairs is the lounge area, and upstairs this is the room. And outside here is the bathroom. We have some high walls so nobody can see me on the crapper. The shower. Isn't this great, guys? Just in the open air, in nature. By far the easiest way to move around on the Nusas and on Bali in general is of course with a motorbike. So we rented one for about 5 bucks a day and we're gonna do some exploring. Let's see the island. Today the friends we made in Thailand are coming along with us. Lennart and Marika already know their way around here, right? Guys? No? Nusa Lembongan is connected to Nusa Seningan through a bright yellow bridge. And that's the place we're heading first. By far the highlight of this island is the Blue Lagoon. Check this view. Time for a juice and a delicious mie goreng. Just on the other side we find Secret Beach. But don't tell anybody. I think I'm gonna go up here with the drone because this is also very pretty. The different shades of blue in the water are breathtaking here. The Nusas are rugged islands with heavenly beaches between the rocks. And just like Bali, this is a swinger's paradise. On the actual swing, I mean. Back on Lembongan, we chill at one of the many hip bars with fantastic views over the ocean.
Good morning, guys. We slept like babies here in this bed with the three of us, and it's a beautiful day again on Lembongan. How did you sleep, Jens? Pretty fine.
About a 5-minute walk from our hotel is a very special natural place. It's impossible to swim over here because the coastline is so rough that when the water hits the rocks, they create the devil's tears in the sky. And that's why they call this place, with the splashes, the devil's tears. At the Devil's Tears, we enjoyed the natural forces of the rough ocean for an hour or so. And in those high waves, we even see multiple turtles. We're all set on the motorbike with the whole family because we're going to visit one of the most beautiful beaches of Lembongan. Let's go! That beautiful beach I was referring to is called Jungut Batu. It's also a bit of the center of the island because in the alley behind here you can find the nicest restaurants, little shops and good hotels. With the drone we see how perfect this white beach is on the blue water. Those dark areas are seaweed farms. Long before the tourism came, this was the largest export product and still an important source of income here. Just like on Bali, Lembongan has many trendy restaurants with high-quality lunch dishes. How can we end the day better than at the cozy sunset point? And now we take a 20-minute boat trip further to the bizarre nature of Nusa Penida. Just like on the previous island of Nusa Lembongan, I advise you to rent a motorbike if you're on Nusa Penida. The distances are quite big, even 10 times bigger than on Lembongan. And if you want to see everything, sometimes you need to drive for an hour or so. But nothing keeps me from seeing this island, so let's go and explore on the motorbike. The motorbike cost me $5 a day, and today I explore the island with Lennart and Marika. The first site that we visit is pretty famous by Instagram, drone videos on YouTube, because this is the most spectacular place here on Nusa Penida, and it's called Klingking, and it's named after your pinky, because Klingking means pinky finger. What a fantastic coastline Nusa Penida has. This place is also known as the T-Rex Rock. Do you see the resemblance? The hike down from the top is already an adventure, and the view is getting better with each step. Although looking down is a bit hard because it's pretty dangerous, this hike. Wow. We dive into the rough ocean and get smashed around by the high waves. So guys, I guess we made it back. And I can tell you, if you go early in the morning, it might be better because there were a lot of people on the way down when we were going up. Really busy, but really worth it. Amazing place. Back to Jens and Suus and our oasis in the jungle. So, and this is what I call a well-deserved dive in cold water. Good morning. The weather is a bit cloudy today. There's not much sun and a little bit of rain, but we're gonna do something great. We're gonna make a little snorkel tour around the island and there is a chance to see manta rays. We have to be lucky and we're gonna see a lot of other things, so I'm excited. In 15 minutes we arrive at Crystal Bay. We pick up our snorkeling gear and board this typical Balinese trimaran. It was a bit of a rough ride, but we're here at Manta Point. So let's hope we see one. And the answer is yes. Several giant mantas swim right past our boat in the raging waves. Wow guys, this was the experience of a lifetime to swim so close with the manta rays. Jens saw them from the boat, we saw them up close, and now we went on to Lamat Bay, and here we're gonna see some other fish, tropical fish, but this trip is already succeeded. The coral is also not disappointing here, and we end the trip back in Crystal Bay.
Walking away, your words are lost on me. It's taking everything not to turn around. Throw it away. See if you'll let go of me when you're not holding me.
Wow guys, the snorkel trip here on Nusa Penida is really something I would recommend you to do. We saw things we never saw before. It's time to chillax now on the beach here in Crystal Bay. Tomorrow is a new day. For now it's just relaxing on this amazing island, guys.
I'm like, oh shit, I've been doing this a long time. Lost in my head, I don't care, I'm not gonna lose it. I'm not gonna lose this.
With a feast we say goodbye to our travel buddies. But we'll catch up again soon in Australia.
Hindsight, I don't care, I'm not gonna lose it.
Today is already our last day here on Nusa Penida. And as I told you before, this island is so big that if you want to see the most beautiful places, sometimes you have to drive pretty far. And today I'm going to a couple of these places while Jens and Suus are staying at the hotel. And I'm gonna show you some remote places that are really worth your while. The first place that I visit is called Broken Beach, and this view is already amazing, but from the sky, I will show you later with the drone, this looks like a perfect circle between the rocks, with a tunnel to the open sea. And if I were to fall down here, it would first take me a while, and then I would be pretty dead. Nusa Penida is full of natural wonders, and it's confirmed again when I watch it from above with the drone. Right next to Broken Beach is another site that you call Angel Billabong. And it's a natural swimming pool where normally you could swim with the low tide. But I think you can imagine what tide it is now, because I'm even getting wet over here. Just to give you an idea of the trip I'm making today and the magnitude of it, we just went all the way to the most western tip, my buddy, the motorcycle and me. And now I'm going all the way to the most eastern tip of Nusa Penida to see another incredible sight. Along the way I get into the middle of the local life, and the route across the island is one big adventure. The place I was referring to all the way in the east that took me about an hour with the motorcycle is called Diamond Beach. I'm standing on the cliffs for an amazing view. You can go down to the beach as well. And of course I'm gonna fly here with my drone. And it looks a little bit like the Great Ocean Road in Australia, with some imagination. So we're gonna take the boat and head back to the main island of Bali, and we're gonna turn the place inside out because we're also gonna visit the Gilis and Komodo. Wow guys, this is so exciting. I'm still in the hotel in Ubud, Bali, and Susan and Jens are in the room while I'm having breakfast alone. And then a driver is gonna come up front with my friend in it, Edward. And while Susan and Jens are gonna stay on Bali with his family together with the kids, we're going to Komodo. So yeah, it's the first time actually in this entire year that I'm gonna be separated from the family. So the first stop guys, Flores. We're gonna head out and look for some food and drinks here. I have no idea where we are, but it looks nice. The nearest gateway to Komodo is the fishing town of Labuan Bajo. We end up in the middle of local life when we walk through the harbor. And with the drone we immediately see how beautiful the sea is with all the surrounding little islands. What an adventure guys! We saw the city of Labuan Bajo. It's a nice little town, not too much to see, but we had some beers, lunch, and now we went to the hotel. Very nice hotel where we stay for 2 nights, and in between those 2 nights we go to Komodo National Park by boat to see some islands and of course Komodo dragons. What's very funny is that they have super original names for the rooms in this hotel. What's less funny is this.
Oh, good morning guys. Well, good night actually, because it's still 5 o'clock and we need to get up to go on the tour. Come on, Ed.
So this morning we woke up on Flores and we took the boat to Komodo National Park. And as it turns out, Komodo National Park has multiple islands, and the main islands are Komodo, Padar and Rinca. And we're standing now on Padar for this amazing view after a little hike. World famous view, this one. Padar is uninhabited and arguably the prettiest of all the Komodo islands. But the Komodo dragons are extinct here. Still, it seems that we have to take care, because in recent decades Komodos were sometimes brought here because they caused problems on other islands and are therefore extra dangerous. What a view guys! It took us about half an hour to get here. It's very hot today. We've been here half an hour as well, going down now onto the boat, and it's not allowed to drone here, so I got my drone and I really want to do it, but I think we can do it on the other side because somebody just told me that over there on the beach is a perfect spot where it's allowed. So especially the location and the blue bays around Padar are breathtaking. We also see many of these Timor deer walking around. The island of Padar is one natural wonder, and one of the most amazing places is called Pink Beach with the pink sand and the blue water. It's also the first place we're gonna do some snorkeling. So let's head out and see the underwater world of Komodo. While snorkeling, we see many types of fish, and the clarity of the water here is bizarre. Of course, all the other islands are pretty amazing. But there's only one place that made us come all the way over here. It's actually one of 7 nature wonders of the world. It's Komodo Island, and we're gonna try and find some dragons over here. Once through the gate, we almost immediately see a little one scurrying around through the bushes. What's really awesome is that we just entered the island through a gate. And you get the feeling of Jurassic Park because you're gonna see some dinosaurs here on the island. We have a guide that protects us, just like in the movie. Komodo dragons rarely attack humans, but they are deadly. They bite their prey, which is then poisoned, or they bleed to death. They wait patiently to go to work and swallow it with bone and everything. These guys are the closest related animals to the dinosaurs that we still have left on Earth. So we made quite a walk through the forest. We only saw a baby, and then later on the beach we saw a really big one. They can get up to 3 meters, and this one was more than 2, I guess. A really big fat one. So Komodo Island, check. I have to go to the bathroom, but I think I'll wait a second. On to even more natural wonders, because Komodo is a real world trip in one day. Our next stop is in the middle of the ocean. We're on a sandbank, the boat is over there, and if you look around me you can see this gorgeous blue water. This is paradise, guys. So we're gonna do some snorkeling over here. Then we sail on to Manta Point. In a cold current in the middle of the sea, we see dozens of manta rays passing by. It just kept getting better and better today, guys. This is the final stop. It's called Kanawa Island. We just chillax for the rest of the day in the sun over here. We can do some more snorkeling, but I think we're all set because what I saw today, I never saw it in one day in my entire life. Komodo Island.
Let's make a toast, Ed, because we will never forget this adventure of a lifetime.
So the plane brought us back to the main island of Bali, and over here we're gonna chillax for a couple of days in this hotel with a giant swimming pool. This is Seminyak, one of the most popular places to stay on the island, but we're starting a new trip after breakfast. We're going to the Gilis.
And we also say goodbye to Edward and Merlin here. Our boat leaves again from Sanur for the next adventure.
Ice coffee.
Sometimes the Gilis are incorrectly called the Gili Islands. That's because Gili already means little island, and Lombok has about 30 of them. Most of them are still unknown to the tourists, but the most famous 3 are between Bali and Lombok. It took us about 2 hours to get here, and these are Gili Trawangan, Gili Meno and Gili Air.
We stay on the main island, and that's Gili Trawangan. Our hotel is within walking distance of the pier.
Most of the hotels on Gili Trawangan are near the beach, but they are a little bit more expensive than we're used to on our world trip, and especially in Indonesia. So we found one about 100 meters from the beach in a side road, and this will cost you a lot less, about 25 bucks for a super nice cabin with a pool. The Gilis used to be uninhabited way back in the past, and the people came here about 200 years ago from Lombok to start a society as fishermen because the waters here are full of fish. It's only until the 80s that the first tourists came here, and it became a hidden gem to go to from Bali. Nowadays there are a lot of restaurants, bars, but what remains is that there are still no motorized vehicles on the island, which makes it nice and quiet.
With the drone, I see how pure and serene the beaches are. In fact, there's barely anyone on the beach but me.
Earlier on I told you that this island has no motorized vehicles, so it's extra fun to rent a bike and go around the island, which is about 4 miles, so we have the day, let's go!
Renting a bike here is super cheap. It'll cost you about $3 a day.
During our trip around Gili Trawangan, we see the beach everywhere, and this is actually just one beach that goes around the entire island. The beaches have no names for that matter. But if you were to meet with your friends somewhere, I would tell them a point of recognition, because just sit somewhere and say, hey, we're on the beach, they're not gonna find it. We're almost at the end of our tour around the island, and that over there is Lombok. So this is a pretty good place to fly a little with the drone. Let's go!
At low tide we can really see how the Gilis lie on top of the coral. And in the back you can also see how close the other Gilis are.
How funny is this, guys? The best place on the island to spot sea turtles is at LiQWYD Resort. And LiQWYD, that's my initials, Wouter Adi Hendrikus. It's meant to be.
I've seen sea turtles before, but never so easily and so many as today. At low tide, they almost come onto the beach to take a look.
It's getting harder and harder not to recommend this place because after the lunch I saw 4 turtles and Sus even saw 7. So now we're swimming in their swimming pool and they offered us to take a dive here.
When the sun goes down, the Gilis are the perfect place to dine on the beach. Under a sky full of stars, you already have a main course for about $5.
Good morning, guys. We're still on Gili Trawangan and it's a perfect day in paradise again. But today we're gonna visit the other 2 islands, Meno and Air, and do some snorkeling on a trip. And I've seen on the way that there's plenty to see in the waters and we're gonna see some amazing wonders of nature.
At a local tour company, we sign up for 5 hours of sailing around the Gilis. This trip, including the snorkeling gear, only costs $10 a person.
The first place that we stop is at a shipwreck to do some snorkeling. And I actually never saw one before snorkeling, so it should be fun.
We found Gili Meno to be the most unspoiled of the 3, and that's the reason that many of the best snorkeling spots can be found here.
The next stop is a very special one because they place some statues here underwater for the coral to grow on so it can create some new life. And the statues themselves are kind of spooky and famous. Time for our third and last stop for snorkeling today. This is Gili Air and this is Turtle Point. So I guess you can already imagine what you can see on the water here. And it's not ninja turtles, unfortunately, just sea turtles. Let's look for them.
We see 2 types of turtles here, the green sea turtle and the hawksbill.
Wow guys, this snorkeling trip was incredible. We saw turtles, I think 20 or 30 of them, and Jens even saw a couple of them from the boat. Big ones, little ones. We saw a lot of coral, beautiful colors, tropical fish, and now we're on Gili Air to have some lunch. And I'm gonna put up the drone to see if there's some difference between the islands. I think Gili Air is a little bit more relaxed and less crowded.
Gili Air is the furthest from Tobjan and is therefore the most remote, but you can still reach this slice of paradise in half an hour. One more delicious dinner on the beach and then it's back to Bali.
Good morning guys! From Kuta, Bali, and it's raining a bit today, but it doesn't matter because who turned 4 years old today?
Jensie!
My baby boy! Despite the rain, we're gonna search for a nice place to celebrate his birthday, indoor playground or something, so let's head out in Kuta. On Bali, it's quite usual to have your own driver, so we have Gede, he picks us up today, and we had him before already 3 or 4 times to pick us up, drop us off. Normally they give you their WhatsApp number and you have your driver that you can call day and night, so that's pretty nice. It's almost time to say goodbye to Bali and to Indonesia, but not without visiting the southern part of Bali first. You have this little peninsula called Jimbaran, which is fun to drive around and see some highlights. And we start at Padang Padang Beach, a small beach with big rocks and some surfing. On the way down to the beach, we go through this temple and it's full of monkeys everywhere. I think they're nice for the moment, but you have to be careful that they don't jump on you to see if you have any food in your bags, because there's a lot of them.
From Padang Padang we drive to the main surf spot of Bali. Uluwatu is known all over the world and Suluban Beach in particular is a wonderful hangout. From the many bars you have a great view on the surfers hitting the waves. But Uluwatu has many more beautiful things to visit.
The name Uluwatu consists of 2 words in Indonesian. Ulu means end of the land and Watu means rock. So we're at the end of the land on the rocks at the temple, because this is Pura Uluwatu, the temple with a beautiful view. Here at the land's end is also the end of this episode, unfortunately, but we're traveling on from Bali to Vietnam. So I'll see you in the next adventure because we're gonna stay traveling for a while, guys.
Don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss anything. Ciao!